MegaHerzzz. You're listening to MegaHerzzz on 4ZZZ.
Hey, you're listening to MegaHerzzz here on 4ZZZ.
My name is Charlotte, and my pronouns are she, they.
And my name's Claire, my pronouns are she, her.
And thanks for listening to us today. And we'd just love to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands we're on here today. We are living and broadcasting on Turrabul and Jaggera land here at 4ZZZ.
Yeah, and later on the show, I think we're going to talk about some kind of local happenings. We have some news about kind of new national health initiatives about perimenopause and menopause rolling out kind of, so we'll talk on that a bit.
Yeah.
And then, hey, you're back here with MegaHerzzz on 4ZZZ. We just played a few songs, then the one you just heard is Waiting for the Moon to Rise by Belle and Sebastian, who are coming to Brisbane.
Oh my God, we did some research and we found it.
Yeah, because I was saying earlier, I was like, I'm pretty sure they're coming this year some point. I forgot when, but they're coming in September on the 15th.
Yes,
and it's like an album tour, so they're performing If You're Feeling Sinister in full, the whole album, and then they're playing a bunch of fan favorites. So it should be
for
crazy.
their 30th anniversary.
Yeah, 30th anniversary of the album.
So cool. Yeah, I used to love them when I was way younger. I feel like they've just been around forever, and I feel like they were really big in twee,
they're very
indie,
cutesy.
2010s kind of time. Yeah.
But a lot of really cutesy songs, so that should be fun. But and I think they're playing with a whole huge band, because I opened the ticket link and there's a photo of 7 people.
We're oh, that's not Belle and Sebastian.
I always thought it was
just
two
those
people.
two.
Yeah. It's so much new music, I feel like. And
the past few weeks I feel like there's
bands
been
touring up as
heaps
well.
of cool stuff coming through.
Yeah.
I guess everyone kind of has their Christmas rest or whatever, and now they're all right, we're back in it, it's all happening,
Exactly.
everything's been done.
And I feel it's always towards end of year or start of year. There's so much happening.
Yeah. There's a lot, not this weekend but next weekend. I was going prepping for our gig guide, and there are so many things coming up in the next few weekends. So there's some really cool events coming up, and heaps and heaps of gigs and great stuff that.
Yeah. We'll shout out some gigs later on in the show at the end.
We will indeed.
But we wanted to talk about in this show some stuff we've been reading up about a new rollout of menopause and perimenopause care.
Yeah.
So
we thought we'd start off by actually explaining what menopause is, because I feel not everyone really has an understanding of what
we were
it
chatting
is.
about this earlier, and I was saying how I've never really heard too much. I know basically what kind of it is from my mum and stuff going through menopause. But
and I feel it's something I only really learned because I used to work at a women's health organisation. That's really the only reason why I know anything about it. I feel it's super not talked about, especially for young women, and it's just kind of you enter your 40s and all this weird stuff is happening too, and the doctors don't know what's going on, you don't know what's going on, and it's crazy.
Were you saying someone got a gluten allergy?
It just does crazy things to your body. Yeah, someone I worked with just randomly developed a gluten allergy, and it's just because of perimenopause. It's it's pretty crazy. But I'll start off with a little explainer. So also another misconception. So menopause specifically is actually the period in which you get your last period. So your last menstrual cycle, that is only menopause. Everything leading up to that is considered perimenopause. So most of kind of the symptoms and things that people go through will be perimenopause actually, which is, really interesting. Perimenopause approximately takes place up to 5 years before menopause, and it's where your hormone fluctuation and other menopausal symptoms may begin. And then postmenopause is the stage directly following menopause and lasts for the rest of a person's life. The average age range for a natural menopause is generally 45 to 55 years, with an average onset of about 51 to 52 years. So, there's heaps and heaps of symptoms that are kind of associated with perimenopause and menopause. And that's kind of brought on by reduced estrogen level. It's because of your estrogen levels are reducing, and then your ovarian function is changing. So the symptoms might include things like, hot flashes and night sweats, I feel like are the pretty common ones that people know about. But there's also things like it changes your libido. There can be like, changes in like dryness and things like that. You can have sleep issues. You might have fatigue. It like affects your mental health and like even like cognitive ability. It can change, your capacity for, thinking and all things like that. And it can also change like heaps and heaps depending on the individual. Like some people might have a completely easy time and, be totally fine. Kind of the same with, I guess, your menstrual cycle in general. It's like, so different. But there's so much. I had to do an assignment on menopause and like there's just so many different things that are also associated with menopause that aren't like health related as well. Like lots of people feel like a lot of shame and a stigma. Like there was a lot of stuff about how lots of women like ended up missing heaps of work because, obviously it reduces like, it doesn't make you feel good. And then, but most of them wouldn't tell their bosses why they were missing work, like that because they felt a lot of shame and stigma, like it affected their relationships and all different parts of your life. So yeah,
I feel like heaps of like women's health stuff like aren't talked about when they have like such like broad impacts, and a lot of it isn't like stuff you can specifically like pinpoint and like because and then there's like a lack of research as well, which like plays into that.
And it's like a thing like no one doesn't know that menopause is a thing. Like everyone kind of knows that menopause is a thing that happens, but it seems to still be like a surprise for people and like.
And I feel like a lot of people have the attitude where they're just like, oh, women should just deal with it because it's part of their lives.
I mean, that's like exactly the same with periods. I think people are like, oh, you got period pain, like just get on with it. Like that's you got to do that your whole life. But no, it's like an incredibly like life-changing event that happens and you're not prepared for it. You don't really know when it's going to happen.
Exactly.
Like, you're just kind of generally in your mid to late 40s and and it just that can change your whole life. And I think it definitely deserves more kind of support and like education and women don't know where to go or what to do about it.
No, I feel like so I mean what we wanted to talk about was like the fact that there is like kind of, I mean, we saw this news about how there's a national healthcare initiative to kind of try and support more of like women experiencing menopause and perimenopause. I think it's starting like the 1st of July, so like in 2 days, but it's like this rollout of like more services to like access to services such as like psychs and dietetics and physios at a lot of like those like endometriosis clinics. So I think there's one in every state and territory and like major city. But there's heaps like spread out. I think there's 33 in the nation that are like specifically like endometriosis and pelvic pain clinics that are like kind of government supported, like not private ones. And then they're doing like a $40 million investment to try and include more broader support for different services that kind of are more holistic in like caring for well-being as opposed to like very specific like medical things.
That's awesome. Well, and I think that's a big part of menopause as well, is that like obviously like you can get things like I don't know, I think they call it HRT as well. It's you can get like you can take like estrogen pills or you can get estrogen creams and stuff, but also like obviously that's a medical kind of treatment for menopause. But also like I think a lot of the research I found when I was doing for an assignment last year was that initiatives that address all holistic parts of a woman's health have far better outcomes for menopause because it affects your mental health. Like it affects so many different parts of you that aren't just your hormones and
exactly. I feel like so much of like women's health issues are like ones that like are very like broadly impacting as well. Like I know a lot of people who have kind of like unknown like medical conditions where it's just like they go do a bunch of tests and then the hospital is just like, oh, we don't know what's up.
So
anyways, you just have this like huge health thing that impacts your whole life, but then it's just like, oh, deal with it. It's just kind of like and I feel like not, it's a common experience probably for like a lot of women who like kind of try and seek kind of like more like holistic care or like care that's like there's no specific really like obvious like diagnosis, but then it's like they need some form of support.
So that's when I think people start seeking out other options. Like, you're like, I guess I'll go see a naturopath. Like, if I'm not getting results from the medical system, you kind of have no choice but to, figure out what works for you, which is like really upsetting. And you should be able to, I think, listen to your doctors. And I think for things like menopause, which is like literally will basically happen to every woman, like a lot of trans people, like it will happen to a lot of the population. I think doctors really should have more of an understanding of what helps people and
kind of like I feel like a lot of, from what I know, they kind of have like very much just like a standard, and they just like kind of like
Yes.
hand it out, just be like, oh, here's your estrogen, go on, now you'll be fine.
Yeah, one of the research things I was looking at was like a lot of women thought that I've got to find it, but a lot of them thought that if they didn't want hormone replacement therapy, if that wasn't something they were considering, then they thought that there was literally no other options for them.
Yeah.
But there's like so many different treatments you can do, and so I think having these specialist clinics will be such a great like help for people and will really make a difference for a lot of women. And they're being integrated into the endometriosis clinics, right? Like the existing ones,
There's 33 clinics across like the whole country, but maybe we'll read out some of the ones in Queensland. So there's a few in Brisbane. There's one in Toowong, which is it's called Neighbourhood Medical, and there's pretty much so there's a government site about endometriosis and pelvic plane clinics. So if you go into like the health.gov, there is a list of all the clinics. But in Brisbane, there's one in Toowong, there's one in Morayfield, and then there's one in Oxley. And then if you're on like Gold Coast, there's one as well. So I think it's called Benoa. I have no clue how to pronounce it.
Benoa,
but
I guess.
Yeah. And then there's some like across Queensland in other areas. So there's one in Cairns, Blackall, Drayton. There's some in central Queensland, so like Norman Gardens. But yeah, there's a whole list. There's one in every state at least, and there's one in like every major city. So yeah, if you feel like this is something that might benefit you, or you just kind of want to have a look-see of what's up, you can just go have a look. There's a list of them. And the news article, we've kind of been finding out a lot of the information about the new initiative is off ABC News.
Yeah.
So it's about, it's titled Menopause and Perimenopause Support Rollout in National Clinics. So if
Very
you want more
cool.
information, check out the article.
I found some statistics from my assignment if you want me to share them.
Go for it.
It's really bad though, because there was a section on work, and it basically, and in terms of symptoms, 42% of women report that menopause symptoms were worse than they expected, and 18% didn't know how long to expect symptoms to last. So research also indicates that only half of women consulted a healthcare professional for support for their menopause symptoms.
Yeah.
Which is only half, which is like kind of crazy. It just means, women were experiencing symptoms and just not doing anything, just expecting
like,
not to know anything.
Yeah, a lot of people I know kind of just like, they're so used to just like sitting with the discomfort or pain or like health issues. Because I mean, like, kind of like with periods as well, it's like you have all of this like discomfort and like pain going on.
Like, that's
like,
how it is, I
just deal
guess.
with it. Just like sit with it.
Yeah, it says 58%, like their reasons for not accessing, 58% were thinking that their symptoms weren't bad enough to address, and 33% believing that there was nothing a doctor could do to provide support with other than prescribing hormone replacement therapy. Yeah. I mean, that's really bad. And then, other studies kind of show that 22% of women reported that since experiencing menopause, they like had arguments with their partners, like feeling isolated from their family. 15% felt that they were a burden. 36% of women reported their symptoms also impacted like their social life. So things like stopping you from going and interacting with people, going to your hobbies, like all that kind of stuff. Like it has such an impact on all these different facets of your life.
It's like a big like quality of life thing.
Yeah.
It's just like biopsychosocial health.
Absolutely. All those things interact, and
so like even though it's like a physical like or like hormonal thing, it's like it's like all of your mental health and your social life.
Absolutely.
And, and people need to work. They need to they have like family and other responsibilities.
And I feel like people are working later and later now as well. So it's not like it's a thing that's not a workplace issue. Like it's absolutely a workplace issue. I think like most women in their 50s are still working. So that's such a massive impact.
And I feel like a lot of like stereotypically like jobs that women do kind of are more like demanding in that they have less time for breaks. They don't get to
Absolutely,
rest.
yeah.
They don't get to because it's just like kind of like that double standard of like men have like these like office jobs. Like, they can chill whenever they can go like
you think about like nursing, teaching, like all that stuff. I think that is like really female dominated, like community services. It's stuff and you're on your feet all the time.
Exactly.
It is really
like you can't
demanding.
just like leave a classroom to like, go take a break.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely an interesting topic because I feel like no one talks about perimenopause
No,
much.
they don't.
Like
Yeah.
they don't teach it in schools, at least
No.
from like where I was.
I didn't know. I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't even know what perimenopause was.
Yeah, and people just like everyone uses the term menopause, and
Yeah.
there's like, I mean, it's just like a change of terms. Right?
Yes.
It's like
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
not much in-depth discussion or like awareness. So
No. This is
it's
our
good to-
PSA. If you're
Yeah.
experiencing menopause, you are allowed to get support. Your symptoms
Exactly.
are, you know,
and it
worthy
doesn't
of
have
addressing.
to be like super like medical type stuff.
No.
Like yeah, you can get other forms of support just like to deal with it.
Yeah.
Any aspect that you're finding you need support with.
Absolutely. Talk to your GP. Talk to a psychologist. Go to one of these, like, you know, new clinics that are providing really specialist support. I think that is a really great
Rolling out
initiative.
on 1st of July. If
1st
you
of
wait
July,
2 days.
So hopefully, you know, they should be up and running soon. Yeah. And so that's what they're there for. So absolutely utilize them and yeah, take care of yourselves.
Absolutely.
Oh, did we get a subscriber just then? It's popped up on the thing.
Yeah, Stephen
you,
from
Stephen.
Manly West.
Thank you so much. That's so lovely.
Yeah, and if you're listening and you're not a subscriber, feel free to subscribe.
Subscribe
Support
right
Community
now.
Lite Radio.
It's really important. Support us and what
Yeah.
we do.
I mean, everyone here is like volunteers, and
Yeah.
to keep the radio running, if you like what you're listening to and you are able to donate a bit, feel free.
Thanks, guys.
But yeah, here at MegaHerzzz, we kind of make it our commitment to report on femicide in Australia. So every show we do a segment where we get our information from Sherele Moody's femicide reports, but we report on all the new femicide cases that happen across the whole of Australia because it's pretty important. It doesn't get much coverage on mainstream
No.
news medias.
No,
yeah,
Sherele
so-
Moody's kind of the main person doing
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
And yeah, so we're coming up to that bit now. It is quite a heavy, sensitive topic. So if you do need to tune out, definitely do that. Take care of yourself. You can tune back into radio later. There'll be awesome music on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But right now we're going to go into kind of more heavy topics. So this week there's been 2 new cases. So there was a 29-year-old woman in White Peak, Western Australia, who was murdered on Tuesday by a 19-year-old male, and she was the 33rd woman to have killed this year. It's not known if the male has a connection to the woman, and we don't have much information on her. It's known that the male was charged with trying to kill 2 other people as well.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, there's not much information. It's just saying it was an incident involving 2 vehicles as well. Yeah, which was something we have touched on in the past about how when it comes to femicide, kind of like when people use vehicles as a means of violence, like either purposely, like a lot of the times purposely, if they're using a vehicle as a weapon, it's not like counted in the law as something as heavy as using other forms of weapons. Like if you use a car versus a knife. Like,
I feel like it's been a really big trend this year as well as vehicle murder.
Yeah, so it's definitely like you can see it happening a lot, and it's not very talked about. They often like shift the narrative. They'll be like, oh, it was a car crash, or like this guy just run the person over.
Yeah, which is
like,
not. It's not seeming like counted in the same narrative, I think, as violence against women.
exactly.
There was also a second woman killed. So a 23-year-old woman was shot to death at Biggerah Waters in Queensland just yesterday. A man known to her is charged with murder, domestic violence, and unlawful possession of weapons. She is the 34th Australian woman killed this year. Again, we don't have names for either of these women, but it doesn't make it any less tragic. And rest in power to these women. And if we get any more information about who they are, we will absolutely be sharing that on the show.
Yeah, because I feel like it's a big thing that, you want to highlight kind of the woman as who they are, not focus so much on, the perpetrator's crimes and like what they're doing. But then there's so little information just because it's like not covered by mainstream media. It's so like Sherele Moody, who does a lot of research into kind of like Femicide Watch and trying to get like royal commissions into like these cases. and then there's just, you don't find much information reported. Which is quite
and
tragic.
she obviously shares it when she can, but I know that not all families as well want names shared and things like that. But absolutely, our goal is to honor these women by sharing their stories, and if we can share their names and share more about them, we definitely do.
But we're just going to read out some helplines since this is quite a heavy topic. If you feel like you need some support, someone to talk to, you can call. There's Lifeline 131114. There is 1-800-RESPECT, which is 1-800-737-732. There's the Women's Crisis Line 1-800-811-811. And there's also the Men's Line, which is 1-300-789-978.
And we're coming up to the end of our show now. And we're just going to talk about a couple of little gigs that are coming up before we hand over to Femme Fatale. Speaking of, Femme Fatale have her first birthday weekend, or their first birthday gig this weekend. Very exciting.
It'll be so cool.
So cool. So it'll be on Friday the 3rd of July at the Trafford Garden. I believe it's free entry, all ages, and it'll start from
lineup.
Such a great lineup. It'll start from 6:30. So we've got Jean, we've got Creeping Jenny, we've got Charlotte Mead, and we've got Wisher. What a great lineup, and I think that'll be a really good time. So make sure you get your tickets and head down there on Friday. On the following day, we've also got Dirty Harry have they call it their Love and Piss EP release tour, really exciting, on July 4th with Tomorrow's Forecast. I actually can't see where it is. Hold on. I think it's a season 3, I'm pretty sure. But we will share details of on our Instagram as well, of course. And then, sorry, my page closed. There's also a Handmade Horizons art market, which is really cool at West End. So that'll be at 69 Thomas Street in West End. That's on the Saturday as well from 8 to 1 p.m. It's a community event, free entry. There's heaps and heaps of artists. There's a really long list of people who are going to be selling things at that. So that'll be a really good time as well. And then Practice Studio are having a garage sale. So Practice Studio are a local, they're local fashion designers. Female owners. They're really cool. So they're having a little garage sale on the 5th of July, so the Sunday, with Kat Walsh, Miri Baker, Lorne Bowles, Catalyst, Split Level World, and Tintin's Trinkets. Lots of really cool artists, and lots of really femme-fronted artists. So thanks for listening.
And we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Isn't that what feminism is about?